everybody, and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here, and well, now we're going to read the other side of the chapter, the killer lore for Roots of Dread. We got finished reading Hattie's lore. Now we're going to read about the Dredge and see where they overlap. Get it? Haha, the overlap. All right, so the chapter Roots of Dread is going to come out on June the 7th on Tuesday. I'll be giving away copies on my Twitch stream that day. I'm going to have a long stream all day. Random giveaways to those who are in attendance, so I hope to see you there. And remember, there is most likely going to be an exclusive cosmetic for those who buy the entire chapter through their platform store. Probably going to be an outfit for Hattie, I would assume. That's typically the way it goes. When you buy original chapters, you get an extra bonus cosmetic for the survivor. That's pretty well the way it's been all the time, except for Ghostface, since Ghostface was the only one in his chapter. He got the white stripe cosmetic as a bonus cosmetic. Anyway, so if you think you want to make sure you don't miss out on that bonus cosmetic, make sure that you buy the whole DLC. And if you're somebody who buys your DLCs on the Epic Game Store, remember that you have an opportunity when checking out to put in the name of a content creator of your choice. And if you put in my name, that'll help support me. I would truly appreciate it. Anyway, on with the show. Let's read through the Dredge's lore here. The Dredge, Dead by Daylight Killer Lore. 4-minute read. Oh, this one's even shorter. Here we go. The Fold was founded on a private American island in the 1960s by a group of anonymous philanthropists. Their goal was to establish a peaceful society free of dark thoughts and emotions, attracting the dismayed, disenchanted, and disillusioned from all over the country. This peace-loving community thrived over the years, and members freely followed the dictates of its charismatic leader, Otto Stamper, who taught his followers the secret of maintaining happiness through joy talk, meditation, and the endless reciting of good-thinking mantras. But not all was bliss within the Fold, and Otto swiftly banished anyone who confessed to having dark thoughts or speaking dark words. Those he appointed as guardians of the Fold were quick to root out malcontents, banishing anyone who thought or spoke against the almost perfect community he had established. In this way, Otto had conditioned Ottomarians to believe dark thoughts were the root of all discontent. He spoke of an ancient god called the Druani, telling them how this god fed on dark memories and desires, and how they needed to expel any and all manifestations of darkness from their hearts for fear of summoning this horror from the land of shadows. Life was more or less a utopian dream on the island until, that is, the darkness began to slowly leak through the cracks of their spiritual dam, and members began to mysteriously disappear. It wasn't long before fear closed its septic jaws on the island and refused to let go. The once happy community now gathered in a few homes, chanting all the good-thinking mantras in a desperate attempt to rid their lives of this formless creature that seemed to stalk them in the shadows and consume them in their sleep. Otto tried to quell his followers, telling them that there were malcontents among their ranks and that they alone had summoned the Druani to their Garden of Joy. As the Fold bleeded fear, Otto evoked desperate measures. Ottomarians were restricted to their homes to prevent the spread of rumors, and dark talk while sleep was forbidden to prevent anyone from releasing dark dreams into the world. Freedom and sleep would return just as soon as the Druani was no longer upon them. But when Ottomarians continued to disappear, Otto assembled his followers near the beach, where he placed a screaming woman on a wooden stage. There, in the rain, Otto explained to his drenched, alienated, and sleep-deprived congregation that the woman was a journalist here to destroy everything they had created. As the guardians held the trembling woman, she screamed that Otto wasn't the savior he claimed to be. He belonged to an ancient cult, an exclusive club of billionaires that took pleasure in corrupting and sacrificing people towns, and even countries to an elder god. The journalist told them that Otto hadn't banished anyone. He had tortured and sacrificed them, and that they would be next. Without hesitation, Otto slit her throat before she could continue to spread lies. As she collapsed to her knees with her hands clasped around her neck, he told his confused and terrified herd that she was working with others within their ranks and that they needed to find the imposters before the Druani came for them all. Otto's words shot out over the congregation and reached into the murky recesses of their hearts and dredged up dark and fearful things. Years of suppressed emotions began to bubble up as a thick fog pushed through restless legs and feet. Whispers began, and the whispers became panicked mantras, and the mantras became screams and curses as each member accused the next of malthinking and mal-speaking. Over the howling wind and pounding rain, the screams and curses grew louder and louder as everyone desperately tried to contain the darkness within. But the harder they tried, the quicker they failed, and within moments the dam burst to release a torrent of hell. Otto watched his once blissful and joyful herd suddenly erupt into violence unlike anything he had ever seen before. The fold bleated accusations and tore each other to bits and pieces with hands and teeth, and never once did they look up to see their kind and charismatic shepherd smiling down upon them with eyes that were cold, bleak, and without pity. When it was all over, Otto felt the creaking wooden stage shake as a murder of crows circled above, and suddenly the ground rose and then sank into a thick, oozing black mud like molasses. Moments later, a formless mass squelched out of the muck and rose like a rearing horse to feed upon the writhing mass of butchered humanity. It was everywhere and nowhere at once as it slowly picked its way through the carnage, absorbing the darkness, savoring the misery, trailing terrible noises, shrieks, cries, whimpers, pops and cracks, feasting sounds, death sounds, dark sounds. Otto watched the creature as it slowly began to manifest into the very thing he had imagined, the very thing he had made them all imagine. And it turned slowly to look at Otto for a long, silent moment, and then the Druani trudged away through the thick black sludge, disappearing into the shadows from which it had come. So, this is very interesting. This isn't the Otto that has been presented to us up to this point. Otto is part of the Doctor's lore as Dr. Herman Carter's mentor, teaching him the tricks of the trade and pushing him further and further to torture people for information. This Otto is quite different. So the question begs to be asked, is this the same Otto, or is this an Otto from the multiverse that Dead by Daylight draws upon? Is this a version of Otto pre the time that he spent with Herman Carter, and it's the same person, or is it a very different Otto? I don't know if that's something that will be answered when we get into the lore. I would have to assume that if there is an archive tome about the Dredge, that it has to have something to do with Otto, since this is basically Otto's creation, Otto's monster. So I'm very interested to see where all that goes, and if we do get any of those answers. Now, I do believe that the multiverse does play a part in this. I do believe that the journalist that Otto cuts her throat on the stage, I think that is Hattie, a different version of Hattie. I could be wrong about that, but when you look at all of the add-ons for the Dredge, many of them are connected to Hattie. So that's what leads me to believe that Hattie is the journalist who was investigating this. We know that from her own lore, she's investigating the dark cult, the Black Veil, whatever name they go by, in different areas that are beholden to the entity. So it makes sense that she would come to investigate this scenario as well, and paid the ultimate price, which ironically wound up, well, maybe the Dredge would have been born anyway, but it definitely exacerbated the situation, accelerated it to the point where everyone ripped each other to shreds. And remember, from Hattie's own lore, she has the vision of all of the people ripping one another to shreds, as if during that spot of the overlap, she is able to connect with her former self and sense all these vibrations from the overlap, another version of herself who suffered this fate and gave birth to the Dredge. But there's just so many of the Dredge add-ons that are connected to Hattie. I really, really do believe that she is the journalist here. So, what do you think about all this? How do you like this lore? Are you looking forward to playing this killer? Let me know in the comments below. I'm eager to hear what you think about the Dredge. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. Hope to see you on Tuesday for the stream. And as always, I appreciate the time that you spend here with me on my channel. Don't forget to take care of each other in and out of the fog. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life.